Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Film Society of Lincoln Center. My name is Scott Fondas. I'm the Associate Program Director for the Film Society, and it's a pleasure to welcome everyone to the second in our new monthly series, Indie Night, co-curated by the esteemed Ted Hope, who I'll introduce in a second. And as some of you may know, in parallel with this series, we also have launched a new monthly documentary showcase called Art of the Real, and you can find all the details of that in our calendar and on our website. I'm asked to plug other programs when I do these intros, so I shall just say the next screening in that series is the gastronomic musical extravaganza called Mugarit's BSO, and if you're a foodie, that probably means something to you. The chef will be here. Anyway, the whole idea of this series is to spotlight indie films that might otherwise sort of fall under the radar. So it's great to see so many people here again for the second screening. As you may know, you get a discount in our cafe with your ticket stub, 10% off. So we hope to see some of you there afterwards to continue the conversation. Obviously, we have a lot of people from the film here tonight, and there'll be a Q&A afterwards. We really loved this film when we saw it. It's a very, very beautiful coming-of-age story, a movie about people living on the margins of mainstream American society financially and in other ways. And you're going to see some amazing actors in it. And without further ado, to tell you a little bit more and introduce the filmmaker, please welcome the award-winning producer, Ted Hope.
Next week, I'm going to wear a nice suit like Scott. Now, next month. I have to get one first. You know, yeah, we only have one, and it looks a little more silly on me. Anyways, earlier this year, I had the good fortune of going to the Lone Star Film Festival, right? World famous, we think. Well, it was a great experience. The crowd was completely engaged with precisely, true indie film. There was a great selection of movies there, but most important for me, I got to meet Matt Petock, who directed this film. I had seen the film before Headed Down. They had said, Ted, you'll want to see this movie for sure. I said, I don't know, I probably don't have enough time. Another indie film, God. And when I watched it, I was actually quite thrilled. I was thrilled that I was getting to meet Matt, and I'm thrilled that I get to bring it to you. It's an incredibly mature work for those of you that are filmmakers. A lot of times one of the hardest things to do is not to show off, to be able to let the quiet truths reveal themselves. And I think generally, maybe I'm biased, but it often takes a long life to be able to have that sort of patience. So when I met Matt, as you were about to meet him now, I was quite surprised that he wasn't as old as me, even by half. So Matt, come down, say hello, and afterwards we have quite a lot of the cast and team that made this. But it's a wonderful movie, and thanks for coming. And allow me to introduce.
Thank you.
Matt Petock.
Thank you very much for coming. I'm really excited for this opportunity. Just really quickly, I'm going to be really brief and say very little, but I really want to thank Ted Hope for helping me bring the movie here. This is really amazing. Scott found this, and everyone else at the Film Society. This is like I'm as excited about this screening as I was for the premiere of the movie. This is a really big personal thing for me, so thank you. And very quickly, just to thank some of the people that are here that were a part of this film. Zach Shedd and Holly Clark, I'm not sure where Holly is, but who were producers on the film. And I'm lucky enough to have some cast members here. Sarah Player, who you'll see is pretty wonderful. The entire cast is wonderful. Sarah Player is here, and she'll be up here afterwards. Eric Baskerville, Natalie Rakusin, and Chris Keys. So thank you all very much for being a part of this with me. And thank you all for coming, and please enjoy.
So, Matt Petock, come on down. us the courtesy of introducing everybody who can join us here.
Thank you all. You made it through. Again, thanks for being here, and I'm just going to introduce some people that were obviously integral in making this film. First, Mr. Zach Shedd, he's one of the producers in the movie. And Holly Clark, who's also a producer. Is she? If we can fit, maybe. We'll rearrange if we can't fit. And my incredible cast. First, Natalie Rakusin. And Eric Baskerville. Who's going on 20 right now, 20 years old. Mr. Chris Keys. And the incomparable Sarah Player. Is there enough seats for everyone? Do we have enough? Thank you again.
So, you're not a single mother, I assume.
Told you.
So tell us just a little bit about the origins of the project and why this for your first film, and what were the origins of the movie?
I graduated school only having made a couple short films, and I wanted to make a feature as quickly as I could, honestly, and for as little money as I could. So I knew that I needed
72 minutes is the new 90.
That's boom. You know, so I knew that it would be wisest to write something for locations that I knew, and the whole idea of like an intimate crew and an intimate, an intimate crew and intimate production kind of lended itself to an intimate story. So I guess I was very interested by exploring the idea of what sexuality and love kind of mean to us at different stages in our lives. So I just sort of started writing kind of scattered scenes, and I'm lucky enough to have a close-knit kind of writers group that I workshop with, that we both do, and they kind of helped me shape it, and yeah, here we are.
And did you, because I remember when we first met, and I'd like to claim it as my own since I used it when I wrote about the piece, but you said to me that Ray Carver was influence to you, and was that, I can't think of many filmmakers who I think would put that out first and foremost, that I want to make a movie like Raymond Carver, but was that something that had been lingering in your head for a while, or?
Honestly, no, not really. I mean,
For those that aren't familiar, Raymond Carver wrote What We Talk About When We Talk About Love, which became Shortcuts by Robert Altman and many other things.
To be totally honest, I wrote it as 3 separate short stories. So it'd be kind of
before a script.
Yeah, I mean, even the shooting script was like mother. We shot it like that. It was like mother, and then older son, and then younger son, and the idea was that they would back up next to each other, and you'd step back and see this thing, like a collection of short stories. And pretty early on in the edit, I kind of started intercutting them, and it was far more dynamic. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the idea of just like it not necessarily Carver, but any kind, like a collection of little short tales, I think was interesting for sure.
And it's a very emotionally honest piece, I feel. How did you work with your actors, and particularly the younger actors, to deal with this subject, and elicit that performance? Because you guys were great. All across
Aren't they
the board.
great? All of them.
People call it directing, but I know that's really good producing. It's the producing environment that delivers that. So that's the way the clapping goes.
You know, my thing with directing is, and it's not an original thought by any means, but I really want people to act as little as possible and totally be as natural as they can be. So my whole goal from day one with all the performers was to get them to a space where they were, as comfortable as they could be with me, and we were very open. I've shared a lot with these people.
You spoke about your sexual experiences at age 9.
Well, not age 9, but we seriously we have a lot, and it's and it was an incredibly short production, but just the time that we were able
What
to
does that
spend,
mean?
like 12 days, 12 shoot days. The time that we were able to spend leading up to that, just talking and getting to know each other, and that to me is rehearsal. That's just as valuable as rehearsal. And what's that? Yeah. Sorry.
Noonan. That's all I said. Noonan.
I had this acting teacher in school who's like a master of.
Is that Tom?
It's Tom.
Tom Noonan?
Yeah.
You guys know Tom Noonan?
You should. Yeah.
What happened was exactly.
Yeah. There we go. Anyway, he kind of preached this gospel of, breaking people down to their most bare and their most minimal, and to just you can only possibly ever experience the feelings that you're actually experiencing, and there's no sense trying to pretend anything other than that. And that's really what it came down to. I mean, we had things scripted. I mean, they can speak after me, but we had things scripted, but it was really a matter of we sort of just did it how they felt that it would be right. I mean, they brought so much to the movie, and especially for the younger performers, getting them to a place where they could feel okay about making a mistake, because mistakes are really great and pretty and interesting in real life.
Sometimes someone loses an eye.
And sometimes that happens. Anyway, what do you guys think?
Well, it was my first movie ever, and it was my first time being directed or anything, and Matt was really, like Matt and the whole crew were really, really cool about it, and they kind of talked to us and told us, it's okay, just do whatever, following the script and all that, but,
How did you connect? What was the casting process?
The adults all came from the New York area, and they're all, working actors. Stephanie, who played the teacher, is now in LA. Should we turn one of these off? We did like a super extensive casting process to find them, and I just totally lucked out, honestly. The kids all came from the Virginia, greater Richmond area in Virginia, whatever. We've had a cool casting director there who. We had a cool casting director there who was, he has like a really big network of young actors,
I was talking to a producer yesterday who said he always has wanted to do a book about the great disasters and how they lead to great creativity. What was the great disaster on the shoot?
I mean, I could say before we shot there, we kind of had our sights set on the older kid, and his mother took a look at the material and was like, nope. Yeah, it was like it was like a week and a half.
And now, can you possibly imagine it without this guy?
No, it was without Parker.
Really?
Yeah. It was that. There was that like Abercrombie and Finch model. That was like, yeah. Anyway, the older kid was gonna be this like hulking massive boy.
For
and
me, the
then-
whole experience is just a wash. I can't remember it.
Anyway, yeah, but I mean, yeah, and then Parker came in and was like, we were worried he was going to have that look on his face that he has in that first scene with Kat, where he's just kind of like mouth agape, like, and then that turned into like his look. And yeah, I mean, it was like amazing. It's his character. Like you can't imagine it without that. He's ahead of the trend.
Predated. That's where it came from. It was a. Did you do anything specifically to facilitate collaboration and kind of understanding? Did you watch any movies particularly beforehand? Wasn't.
I mean, there was movies that are just forever inspirational to me, and that went into that were just hugely influential, and I kind of recommended that everybody watch them. And let's see, what were they? Like Killer of Sheep was #1 on the list, and
Have you guys all seen Charles Burnett, Killer of Sheep?
Burnet's Killer of
Hand,
Sheep.
raise your hand. Okay, so most of you have something to do. Homework.
La
Beautiful
Infant
movie.
too, right?
What's that?
La Infant, the
Was
Belgian
that
film.
one? Maybe.
Yeah, this is one of the ones. La Infant, La Enfant, yeah.
Dardenne, of course, yeah.
Kid in the Bike in the theaters now, which is such a beautiful movie. You have to go see it.
They're masters, and you can kind of see it in some of the following shots and things. Yeah, Lynn Ramsey's Ratcatcher, Ho Shao Shen, 3 times with the portraits. Anyway, so yeah, of course. But as far as collaboration, I mean, it was. I mean, again, like we had these really extensive conversations about their characters and what I was hoping for and expecting. And once I think each of them trusted me, and they knew that I trusted them, and they knew that all I wanted was for them to be, as close to themselves as they possibly could, then this whole world of collaboration opened up, and it was like this really amazing thing, especially the young kids. There was like a day or two up front where they were still kind of, and you can kind of pick out the scenes, but when they really like came to get that idea of just like, I just need to exist and be free, and I can say something funny, and that's like cool, and that's natural. It was pretty amazing.
Having gone through this, what advice would each of you give to somebody in your exact situation starting off?
Let's go down the line.
I don't know. Probably don't look at the camera too much. Because I think that happened a couple times. Don't try and touch the boom. I did that too.
It's alluring, that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Other than that, just listen to your director, learn your lines. That's it.
Like when you're playing a character in the movie, like that character may not be the same you, but like because some people like were trying to combine the two and it didn't work out that well. So be yourself.
Maybe ask, see if you can get a take where you just don't do anything you're supposed to do or you think you're supposed to do. Just see if there's time for that one to really fuck it up.
I guess the thing I learned from it is just because the script is written that way doesn't mean you have to play it that way. You can really interpret the character on what you think he or she should be doing.
Yeah, I gotta say, just really quickly, like Chris showed up on day 1, and we were like, "Hey, Chris, great to see you. Glad you can make it. So this is what I'm thinking," and you were like, "No. So this is what Gabe does for a living."
As long as there was sex, I was in.
Like, totally had the entire history of this guy in his head. It's pretty.
Well, for me, what was important is how a guy could be in his 40s and not married with kids, and you got to figure out why this guy is that way. For me, that was a big challenge, and that explained a lot. And this guy probably had some performance issues and tried to pretend like he was a bigger deal, and that was probably caused by alcohol. So that's really where all that came in for me.
That's what it's caused by.
and being gay, but I don't know.
From the producers?
Nothing is as big of a deal as it seems on set. Like just stuff completely falling apart. You wake up the next day and you're like, no, it wasn't that bad. We had a beer at the end of the day. So I think
it took me a long time to learn. Like if I just hold my breath and don't speak, things
go away.
will get
yeah,
solved.
Yeah, no, it's true. So yeah, I mean, it's just like being, I guess like 95%. Like it's not what you're saying; it's the way you're saying it, and just kind of like just zen out, and like it'll get done. Yeah, and if it doesn't, it's
pretty zen shoot. Actually,
it was.
I would have to say, back to what you said earlier, making sure the cast and crew has their meal on time. Yeah, if they don't, then it's going to be a disaster for the rest of the day. So that would be my advice.
And Matt?
I just think I'm all about collaboration, and everything that there's no chance that I would have gotten this without my the most incredible, hardest working, unpaid crew you could possibly imagine. The hardest working, most thoughtful, most talented, the most talented cast I could possibly dream of, and without every element falling into place, it's very alchemaic sort of for me, and I think I just owe everybody a lot, and I think the showing up and leaving yourself open to these kinds of magical sort of sparks. I mean, that's something that I learned here, and that I'm gonna hopefully carry to the next degree, next time.
I think when we first talked, we spoke about that whole engineering serendipity. Like how do you create an environment that allows the miraculous to occur? And you're producing too, right?
Yeah, Zach and a friend of mine who actually shot this film. His name's Dan Carbone. He wrote and directed a film this summer that Zach and I worked on, and we're finishing that up now. And then in the winter we'll be shooting Zach's film, which Dan and I will be a part of, and then hopefully we can cycle back around again.
Do they teach that at NYU now? Like the whole.
It's funny, isn't it? I was talking to someone. It was like, you young people are all about that.
It's all the
trios.
undergrads.
It is the undergrad. I mean, they start us doing that. They start when you first show up at Sight and Sound, it's like you have these little circles, and it's sort of like a communist theory of
But it is like a manufactured passion that becomes like a real passion. It's like, I'm gonna do something for this guy, and then he'll do something for me. And then we all just get excited about working on each other's things.
We can open it up to some questions. I did bring 4 gifts for the first 4 questions. Okay, we got one over there.
Uh-oh.
So the question was, why did you decide to end the movie that way?
That's a great question. Happy birthday.
It was my wife's birthday 2 days ago. Let's hear it for the April.
Honestly, the ending changed a million times when we were editing, but the idea for me was that the whole movie was sort of like a window of time. Like there's story before this that we're not seeing, and there's story that's going to be after this, and this is just like a little glimpse of that we see into their lives. In particular at the fair, I just wanted them to be happy, and even though I think maybe you can watch it and feel like a sense of maybe they're kind of forcing this happy family time, pretending this happy family time exists within their households. I don't know. For me, it's really about
Getting laid.
Getting laid is what it's really about. You got the moral of the story. No, and also also that's really on the Ferris wheel at the end is one of 2 times in the movie where you see all of them in the same frame at the same time. It just seemed fitting.
All the way in the back. Right there, you. Yeah, you got it. So the question was, I love the handheld technique. How did you and Dan, the cinematographer, settle on that technique? And then something else, but I had a glass of wine. I want to talk about your collaboration.
The handheld camera, I think it bothers some people, so I hope no one got like motion sick in the audience. But I think really it started with functionality. We had 12 days to shoot a movie, so it was like, pick up the camera and run. It's like, point it over there, you do your thing. So a lot of it was about speed, to be totally honest. But when I look deeper, I appreciate it now much more because I think I like it breathes for me, and it sort of feels like the camera is like breathing in the room, and I don't know. There's some stuff that is not handheld, but the most part it is. And the other thing that was amazing for me about it is that it opens the actors up to a whole, they can do whatever they want because Dan can be loose and go where they go and, just follow them and sort of, it was sort of like Dan was improvising along with them, if you will. The other thing was Dan kind of, not so much anymore because he's worked on a lot of narrative stuff, but at this time he had a big documentary background, and so that was just his jam, that was like his style, and he had a really good eye for just interesting, unique compositions, and so for me it was all about, like I said, collaboration and just like sort of not directing him too much and really like allowing him to bring his own voice to the photography, and I think he totally did. I think that's a really big part of the film.
When I saw the film, like it was around the same kind of in this string of seeing also the movie that we showed last month here called Without and some other movies, and kind of made me feel like there was this movement. I think we might have talked about, like right now I'm calling like New Brooklyn Naturalism, like a whole group of Brooklyn filmmakers shooting movies in regional locations with a very intimate approach, dealing with kind of in some ways class issues along the way. And I think that the handheld camera, as opposed to being what people often think of in terms of like mumblecore and all of that, there's a lot of work being done that comes with a studied eye, a composed frame. A lot of people associate handheld with much more like reality television, this movement for kinetic sake, as opposed to precisely what you said, and that it's that balance with the actor that I think you can often achieve. You feel the breathing.
Absolutely, and that's what I love it and why it's great about this movie. I kind of wish Dan was here to talk about it as well, but it's funny because the film that he shot and wrote and directed, he didn't shoot himself. He was working with a DP, but it's like locked off
Super
frames.
composed.
Everything is utterly composed, perfect, and every take is like 8 minutes long. It's like the whole scenes of like just single take things. So
He wanted to challenge himself.
yeah, so kind of polar opposite direction, but yeah.
And Mr. Hat. the question was, I loved the subtle moments of humor, and we had a nice list of them. But
Thank you. Right. There you go.
Damn.
so, where's that come from?
The dance,
All
the
those-
moment, the humor.
Yeah.
I mean, we found that. I mean, some of it was thought out beforehand, but some of it we just totally found. I mean, it was like, again, it's just like listening and just being open to that kind of discovery. I mean,
Were you dancing to that song at the time?
they danced that song in full twice, and we used the first take.
And does that, like, those locate that situation of the Saturday night singles exist? Like, how did that come about? Because I
Funny
was so,
story.
I was so fascinated.
Honestly, it was written into the script, and like it was called like Social Night or something, or Singles Night, and I remember at one point like Zach and I think Rachel were like, what do you mean? Like, what is? I'm having trouble seeing it.
Rachel and I had like, we had like a
They had a
intense
thing about
discussion
it.
About it. And we're like,
So,
there's no
like,
such
what?
thing.
What is this?
There's a church on my block in Manhattan that it's actually, I think tonight, it has a singles night, and
So-
like we always joke,
Excuse
it's like
me.
the it's like the hipster Christians are there like, you know.
So we were looking for a location for these scenes, like scouring like Goochland County, Virginia, which is like the most rural nowhere.
Goochland County.
Goochland County. Yeah. So anyway, did you find the place?
Yeah.
So we
yeah.
found the place, and we went to look at it and to like take some pictures or whatever. And we got out, like parked the car, got out, and a sign next to the front door saying like Singles Night this Wednesday, like
Rachel and I were
actually happened there.
We were driving somewhere one day, and we were like, how are we gonna talk? Rachel, the other producer, and I were driving one day, and we're like, how are we gonna tell Matt that this is just
isn't
not
real.
gonna work? Like, this is a terrible idea. And then we drove up, and I don't think I ever told you that we talked about that. So.
It's real.
Another question. Right there, front row, number 4.
Do I get a gift?
Yeah.
Cool. Hi. I guess for the actors, just like, what have you been up to since the movie? Anything coming up in the future? Well, it's been a while since it filmed.
When did
Yeah,
you guys
we shot
film?
this in August of 2009.
Yeah, 2009. So, not much really. Just kind of. I've been working on other projects. None of them are out yet.
Or
Other
nearly as good as this. Oh, they'll be better?
No, I don't know. I haven't seen them yet. I don't know. Not much. Not much goes on. Mostly school.
I actually did a commercial for Intellos. It viewed in Virginia and West Virginia, and that was during the Christmas season. And
So
that's
you made
big.
some serious
yeah.
cash. You're buying tonight
No.
afterwards.
I don't know about all that now.
We'll talk to your agent.
A handful of independent films and shorts, and just doing pretty much everything that people ask me to do. And
You have one that's almost done, right? Am I mistaken?
yeah, I think so.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
And you got married.
Oh, and she got married.
And I got married. Cheryl's
No dancing alone no more.
Just same ditto with Sarah right there. I have a couple of independents I've done, and some shorts and stuff. So just trying to keep my head above water.
Aren't we all? So the question what was when you started, did you have a exit plan, an exit strategy on how to exploit the film? And now that you've gone through the festival circuit, what's coming next? What do you hope? Where do you hope the
so you
film
were
to go?
asking earlier about advice for people. My advice would be have an exit plan, for sure. Honestly, we were trying to finish this movie. I was trying to finish this movie. It was, it meant a lot to me, but I really didn't think very much, I'm ashamed to say, about what was going to happen. Lucky for me, it turned out good enough to kind of travel the world for some really cool festivals.
It premiered in Rotterdam.
Premiered in Rotterdam January of last year. Bounced around Europe and South America a bit, and then
How did that compare to what's happened in the States?
it's really funny. I mean, the reception has been tremendous in Europe, honestly. I don't know if it's a sensibilities thing or if it's, to them, it's like kind of looking in on a slice of American life. So it's almost anthropological, I think. In the States, the reception has been strong, but not nearly to the degree overseas. We made one sale in France. To answer your question, we made one sale in France. We are having some issues with our international sales agent right now. Hopefully, those kinks will get worked out. And we are getting close. I can't. Is anyone from Film Buff here? No. Okay. Well, it's looking really good.
Oh, a hand went up.
Film Buff.
A hand
Yeah,
up back there.
Hi. I owe that person a drink. I think you'll be able to see it on digital platforms, VOD, and possibly some broadcast opportunities starting the fourth quarter of this year.
Hey, Matt, you left out the story about how the film almost got stolen.
Yeah, so when I finished the movie...
It's a good disaster.
Yeah, that's a disaster. Finished the movie and came back and was cutting in my little basement apartment in Fort Greene, and I came home one night and this is in my kitchen where all of my edit stuff is sprawled out. It's like a digital heaven.
Unless you're trying to cook eggs.
Well, I walk in and I had been robbed, so everything was gone except for one backup drive that contained everything from the movie. So whoever robbed my apartment, this guy, whoever robbed my apartment was strangely compassionate enough to leave this one, and it said back up, please, do not touch, don't
Please,
harm.
robber, don't.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? When I break into a home and steal things, I rarely read those notes. It's like you're so lucky that you had.
And there's televisions around. Didn't want that. There's
I always go in the sock drawer
for
first,
the
to
Rolex.
see exactly what. Sometimes.
Something good in the sock. Yeah, but that's how close it came to not even happening.
He would have edited it though. I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
He
yeah,
would have
the
finished
Rob,
it.
the
The
thief.
guy, yeah. This is really good. Huh?
The question of the exit plan's really interesting. When I try to be a responsible mentor, I always encourage people to really think through all of the business. But there's this other side of me that says, thank heaven you weren't thinking of that when you made the movie, and that one of the glories of where we are right now with the technology, being able to make movies at a much lower price than previously, is that you can divorce yourself sometimes from that. Because had you come to meet with me and told me that you had this type of story that you were going to tell, I would have given you advice to take everything that I love in the movie out of it because it just wouldn't fit. So the fact that you were divorced from that and just operated, in your heart and mind to tell this type of story is why we get to watch it here.
Yeah, it's very freeing.
I think that's you hit the nail on the head of why Matt is such a good director, though. that dance, every single person, I think, at some point during the production process or writing process was like, "Ah, that's too long. Like, you gotta cut it." Yeah, in post, it's like it's way too long. He was like, "No, like."
At 72 minutes.
Yeah. No. We were saying that dance, that single shot of the dance, and it was like, I think that's like
I was thinking you were talking about the metaphorical dance there.
the dance. Gotta cut it off. Yeah, no, but I mean, he really knows when to say I'm not gonna listen to you, and he does it in the nicest way possible.
Maybe one more question. There we go. The question was how much? I don't know. I believe in honesty, but like people these days, the film we showed last month cost $20,000. I don't know if you did.
It was about 25,000. I mean, it was 20,000 when we wrapped, and after post and various expenses for finishing, we spent an additional 5,000 or so.
But in saying that, it's important to realize that independent film is a crime. That the only way that they could do that is break the laws, in terms of what you have to pay. It required people to invest with their labor, and if you put a number on all of that, it would no doubt be a 6.5, figure movie. And so, that question's always kind of interesting because in many places, people won't work for nothing, and here we do, and maybe it's exploitative, or maybe it allows for the most diverse cinema in the world because of that. So when people say, "Oh well, maybe it only costs 25,000, and so I'm not going to give you any money," it's like, well, we had 35 people who actually gave us their lives, and you want to put a price tag on that,
Yeah. I mean, I said it like countless times, but these guys all worked some pretty harsh conditions for like 12, 13 days. So I owe everything to it.
I think we really lucked out in a lot of different areas. I mean, the house that we used.
Yeah. No, I mean everybody gave us stuff. That's how it was. So we shot it in Richmond where we know everyone and everybody.
and that's
gave us
illegal
meals.
in this world to give.
It is.
You're supposed to. It's barter. You're supposed to be put on your taxes.
Oh, they're in the credits.
I had one question. Talk to me about the eye, getting poked in the eye. Where? That's what I want to hear about. Because I describe the film when people say, "What's that film about that you like so much?" I say, "Well, it's about a single mom and her 13-year-old son and 9-year-old son, and they all just want to get laid, and then one of them loses an eye."
Should be on the back of the DVD.
It will be. It's pretty gross, but it's actually the only autobiographical moment in the entire movie. I think I was about 6 years old, and I was helping my dad. It was my dad, and it was a similar kind of situation, and got
Working on a stereo?
trying to put set up a stereo system basically. Got popped in the right eye, and had to wear an eye patch. It's the thicker lens. It wasn't bad. I don't remember much of it. I had to wear an eye patch for like a year or a little less. But yeah, that's pretty much the only thing that's kind of taken from my life.
Well, your tickets get you 10% off on wine and food.
Come drink.
Outside, go to Indie Food right outside the corner. The next screening we have is on May 2nd. So if you're not on a mailing list, last time Eugene Hernandez had a outside. Eugene, are you here? There used to be somebody from Film Society. They lose interest so quick these days. But my email is ted@doublehope, and my Twitter is @tedhope, and just reach out and tell me you want to be put on the list, and we'll keep you notified about the next movies, because there'll be others great movies just like this one coming down the pike. So thank you all for coming. Thank you for
Thank
supporting
you.
independent film. You guys have a Facebook page?
Yeah, we do. Find us on Facebook. It's just facebook.com/a-little-closer.
And that stuff
Keep
really
up.
does help.
It really
so
truthfully
it
does.
doesn't take much when you remember to do it and send it
just
to
like.
5 more friends to do so.
And you can check out our other work at fliescollective.com.
Lies?
Flies.
Flies.
Flies. The bug. Flies Collective.
And
Check it
get
out.
in touch with these guys too, because they're all incredible.
Thank you guys.
Thank
I
you.